website. They changed up how to file a petition against them. And of course, I found some interesting stuff. So, what we're going to talk about here is if you have IRS issues, what you need to do if you get them. If you get a letter saying you owe some money, and a lot of people have been getting letters out of the blue, stuff that they thought was gone. They just started sending letters, and that's because when COVID hit, they lost a lot of files. They lost a lot of information, and they decided instead of sorting through it and finding out what's what, they destroyed people's tax documents, people 1099s that they filed. They tax returns, and possibly any disputes you put in, they destroyed them. So, but you guys don't have a problem, so that wouldn't affect you. So, the first thing I'm going to show you is I was on their website. This comes right off their website. Let me share the screen. These guys got a style manual. Can you, y'all can see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
They got a guide to tax court policy and procedure. So I would, when I send you guys the templates, you'll get this. Oh, so you don't have to download it or anything right now. So citation and style menus. So they in here show how everything's supposed to be written, even punctuation, semicolons, abbreviations, spelling and word choice, capitalization, which is on page 13. Blue Book Rule 8 provides guidance regarding capitalization for capitalization of text not discussed in the rule. Blue Book Rule. They even have a rule for how to proper names of the IRS forms, letters, and notices. And you notice that when you go through here, none of this stuff is all capped. But when they send you letters, they put your name in all caps. But in their own rule book, they don't, they teach you how to properly upper and lowercase stuff. Just I thought that was interesting. I think let's go to page 34. I was just skimming through here, but this is a good book to have so you can read up on their rules. So preferred capitalization. See the capital. See how they have C is uppercase, and then the rest is lower, meaning the national capital. Nowhere in this book they say, oh, we need to capitalize things. But when you go to their website, like here's a petition form, everything's capitalized. This is a petition that if you would have sued them, everything's capitalized. I just thought that was interesting. So I drafted up new IRS letters that everybody would get. A new this is something you're gonna need to do a revocation of election. John, have you done that yet?
No, I don't think I've done that.
Yeah, that's in the portal, but you since you're on this, you're gonna get the new one. The old one looked like this. Somebody's coming in. The old one looked like this. Let's see, which one am I showing? Is this the new one or the old one? It's the new one. All right. Share. All right, this is the old one. It was a lot of pages. So the new one, let's see. share the new one. This is it.
Can you explain what's that for again?
Oh, the revocation of election is to pull yourself out of their jurisdiction where they'll expect you to do a tax return every year. This is what this form is for. I'm sorry. This
Okay.
form is for that. So we'll read through it. We're gonna go through the new one. The first one had all of these pages. It was effective, but I just felt like it was time to update it and shorten it. This is the new one. See how it's just a couple pages, it gets to the point. So what it's saying is, I, Akeem Barber, the undersigned, affiant, hereby declare the revocation of my election made ab initio to be subject to the jurisdiction of this District of Columbia and the legislative authority of the United States Congress. Because y'all know that's who makes all the tax rules. The Congress, they do all of that. The IRS is a creature of Congress's power to are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear it. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all the way up into the minute. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all you guys.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Thanks for tuning in this Sunday, March the 15th. Let me check my mic because lately, like, I had to check because it was on mute and I didn't set it to be muted. But anyway, it looks like it's working. If y'all can hear me in that chat, just if you can't hear me, let me know in the chat. If you can, let me know. First and foremost, before I get into what I was going to talk about, you shall decree a thing. We got those of you who are members of in my membership, I've provided the information for the tribal information. There is a qualification process. If you have some, they can trace back your ancestry. You will be able to get into the tribe and get a tribal card like I have. Right? I have a. Here's mine. I had it over here. I have a tribal card. There it is. All right. But I was already claiming my status years ago, through my passport. Y'all know I started out as doing the Moorish thing. And that was mainly because I was with other people and they were claiming that. And as I grew in knowledge and information, I moved away from the Moorish ideas. Not that I'm against all Moors or anything like that, but my research and study and history of our ancestry, one of the biggest reasons why we even having these problems is because of them. And then that HR 73 something, and it talks about how the Moorish did a good job in integrating us into this society. And I found out that I remember a long time ago, back in 2014-ish, when I first really started to get this information. And there was a discussion at the place where I used to get my herbs, Solomon Temple. And people were, claiming the Moorish thing. And he made an interesting point, which I couldn't really confirm or deny it or even participate in the conversation because I didn't know enough at the time. And he said, in my studies, I can't find anything good about these Moors when it came to information and the things that happened. Then I saw it. I didn't take sides one way or the other, but as I'm studying and I continue to grow, the Moors were prolific slave traders. They went around the world enslaving people, even their own people. So, even just think about it. Even in studying this, you run across these Moorish Science Temple, Morris this and Morris that, and some of them are the most worst people you could ever deal with. Very argumentative, very combative about everything. They will not grow in their knowledge. A lot of them are doing techniques, 20. I am right now actively working to help people who have dealt with them and they have made a mess of their situation and trying to undo stuff like that. So I figured out a long time ago that I was going to disconnect from that. Because in this day and age, this modern day and age, there is nothing positive much I can say about that. Whole people have gotten their IDs. Where's the freedom coming from? It's not. I don't care. You know, some of y'all might not like what I'm saying. I could care less. I got to go with the facts on what I've been seeing. The facts. And if y'all disagree with me, just hit me up in the chat. Say, I came out disagree, you know, this and this and this and that. All these people that call them Bays and L's and Ali's and Days and all that, just a lot of trifling MFs. And what I found is, what I'm finding is, a lot of them come from very sketchy backgrounds, and this is a community they have flocked to and have really given it a bad name. I think Moore's principles on its face are good principles, but a lot of the people that are associated with are not good people. Poverty mindset, rip you off mentalities. I've seen guys take tens of $20s of $1,000 of people and gave them nothing for it but more problems. Like, for instance, when couple of big cases I'm dealing with, like big ones. And I look at the stuff that was done. I said, they was doing this 20, 30 years ago. It didn't work. How do they think this is going to work now? Sending letters to the Pope and the Queen. The Pope don't give a damn about you. Nor does the Queen. Isn't the Queen passed on already? They're still sending letters to the Queen. Sending letters to Donald Trump. Now, I'm telling you, I followed them, tried that bullshit, and it didn't work. And you know, there's an old saying: the definition of sanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's insanity. I know I'm gonna catch some comments on this. I know it, but listen. One thing you can't say, I'm not telling the truth. See, the definition of stupidity is this: knowing that your shit's fucked up and you still doing the same fucked up shit. Thinking that you just and then getting mad when somebody points out that you're stupid and you're being fucked up. Yes, as an ordained minister, I do curse. And y'all already know it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'll continue to curse as much as I damn want to. Because the God in me is more powerful than any person. I'm good. But anyway, on to what I was going to talk about. Because I'm just tired of running into the BS, like, and having to undo messes that being created. And I don't have to do it, but people who compensate me and take me very well, I do get business from it. But at the same time, some of this stuff is just unnecessary. So I disassociated from all that Moorish stuff. Although I do keep the L, because L is means something other than what they got it. And it don't have nothing to do with them. But anyway, because if you look at the Bible, there's Gabriel, Samuel, Rachel, Michael. Those are supposed to be L's at the end of those names. You know, they separate the other letters, and you got L. Ezekiel. So those are the mind. So title of the lesson is "You shall decree a thing," right? That's what I said. That's what it is. And that's taken from Job 22:28. You will decide on a matter and it will be established for you, and light will shine on your ways. So what does this mean? What does that mean? You shall decide on a matter and light will shine on your ways. What it's saying is once you set your mind and your thoughts to seeing an outcome, it shall come to pass. The biggest issue is people are not focused enough to stay on that first inspiration and keep moving in a direction. What happens is they see things and it looks like it's not going to work out and they switch up, or they just don't stay consistent enough. I was telling my daughter the other day, knowledge is great, but knowledge means nothing without application, consistency, persistence. Because there's a lot of things working against you in this world. First of all, when you have a great idea and inspiration to do something, the very first thing that gets in your way is your own self-doubt. You having, oh man, this is a great idea, and then start to second guess the great idea, that inspiration that comes from high above, from the God within you. And then you start thinking in a lower frequency or thinking in the lower vibration of your mind, and that's doubt, oppositional thinking. Then on top of that, when you do start to get the self-doubt, the lack of confidence, you try to go seek validation from family members, friends, and maybe associates. And then when they respond back to you, they don't give you the confidence that you were looking for. Basically, you have just placed other gods before the God in you. When you do that, that first inspiration, when you know that it's going to work, when you have no doubt in that moment, in that time of the inspiration, the excitement of it all, it's when you take your mind off the excitement and take your mind off the knowing, and you start to, well, how is this all going to get done? And then all of the doubt comes in. Instead of knowing it's going to be done, you start questioning how, and that's where the problem comes, the how. Oh, Akeem, I got to know how to do this. I got to do this. No, you don't. Because the how will just show up. You don't have to look for the how. The how will just come to you. It will just lay itself out right there. And if you're in your knowing state of consciousness, you will know that that is the how. You don't need the how. See, it was when you go back to the whole Garden of Eden story, that whole metaphysical, esoterical story. Just hope y'all know that wasn't physical, right? That was an esoteric. What did the devil say? Satan say, or the serpent? They didn't call him the devil back then. They said the serpent say to Eve. He asked it. He did a trick that the government uses on like when the government is seeking information, government agents, law enforcement. They don't come directly at you because you'll automatically put your guard up. They come in the form of a question. He asked, "What? If you eat the fruit, is it true, such and such and such and such? That if you eat, let's go. What was that conversation like?" He came with a very question. I mean, no, that's not true. He said, we can eat all the other fruit. We just can't eat that one because if we do that, this is what will happen. He's like, no. And then he said, wait a minute. No, that's not going to happen. The self-doubt. Before she knew what was right and wrong, she knew what was what. And then he put in the doubt. The same thing applies with your inspirations. And when you get these ideas, you know it's going to work. Although you don't have it all mapped out, you know it's going to work. It's the best. Wait, this is great. And then what comes? The opposer, the devil mindset comes in. How? That's not, what about this? And what about that? That's not, That's not true. This could happen. That could happen. What if it don't work out? That's the other thing. The what if it don't work out? I remember a long time ago, guy I worked with, he was opening up a barbershop. And he opened up his first barbershop. He said, man, I ain't signing no long-term lease because just in case it don't work out. And guess what? He didn't stay in that spot very long. Now, he was in a good spot. There was no reason why he should fail. No reason why he could not fail. And he wanted me to come work in that shop with him, and I didn't come at first. Then he opened up a second spot in the same area, in the same community, and I came then. But before that, I wouldn't come because I had a lot of things going on at the time. That at the time it wasn't a good idea. But he always said the same thing: I'm not signing a long-term lease just in case it failed. Let's go back to what the scripture says. There's different versions of it. So I'm gonna read the other version. You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you, and the light shall shine upon your way. So what happened with him? He had decreed that he wasn't going to sign a long-term lease just in case it didn't work out. So he decreed in his mind that there was a possibility that his shop wouldn't last. His business wouldn't last. And that's the thought he kept, just in case. I can get out of this. And guess what? That just in case the light shined upon it by the facts that came out of it that he had to shut down. Business never thrived there. And the same thing happened with his other shop. The same thing happened in the other shop because he was talking the same way. And see, and guess what happened? Guess what happened? Each one of these businesses, they shut down. What happened? He decreed it, and he saw exactly what his mind set. He set up in his mind, and he made excuses. Oh, the people are not supporting. They're going other places. They don't appreciate the shopping. He had everything external was the problem. Everything. And it all came true. But here, at that time, I was not really into the conscious thinking. And I was agreeing with that. See, what happens is you get into a situation, then you get other people to co-sign with you, then it all comes to pass. The prophecy is fulfilled. But this was a brand new neighborhood thriving. There was no reason why he should not have done business. But through the utterance to speak, how did light come forth? God spoke it. Let there be light. Let the sun appear, the star. Let's do this. It was spoken. It was conscious, spoken, and it appeared. It came into existence. And just a side note, those things were spoken, and then Sophia helped manifest it. See, they got y'all believing, oh, the word was there, and the word was this, blah, 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 blah. That was Sophia bringing all that forth. Birthing all of the ideas. But let me move on. Now that I understand this better than I did much better than I did before, he spoke his shop into going out of business because he always had a just in case, I'm not going to do it. But then, I did the opposite things. When I went and signed up leases, I wanted long-term leases. Hey, because I wanted the cheaper rent. Give me a 10-year, 5-year. A lot of them would never give me 10 years. They would mostly give me 5. Lock in my price. I don't expect to go out of business in 5-10 years. I literally could have still had my barbershop today. I just sold it. Somebody made an offer and I sold it. I can still have it. But they bought it at a good price, and I moved on. I opened that shop. The last one I sold, I opened up in 2009, and I sold it, I believe, in 2019. So 10 years I had it. Had that second shop. So be very careful of the words you're choosing when you're speaking about things that you want to happen for yourself. You're looking for the way out through failure. Oh, I don't want to tie myself to this because then they're going to come after me for the least. But y'all know what I know about that and all that. I don't worry about stuff like that. See, failure should never be an option for you. Of course, you're going to go through trials and you're going to go through tribulations with growing any type of endeavor that you're going into. You're gonna face that. But those are things teaching you how to keep it going. Those are things that's going to motivate you to learn how to correct and course along the way. So the question is, if you're not achieving those things that you planned on achieving from years ago, because I know a lot of y'all have a lot of things and you still haven't achieved it, why haven't you? I ask myself, why haven't you? And then I can always point to some mindset that I had that's in the way. It's not the out thing. It's the self-talk. It's the consciousness. The God within you. Your God, the God within you can deliver you negative things and it can deliver you positive things. See, the church got to say, God is good all the time. God is this and God is that. Some outside force is good all the time to you, and he gonna make you get the house. He gonna help you get this, and he gonna help you get that. But the God within you is not in alignment with that. The God with you in you is disconnected from all of the good that God can give you. By self-doubt, self-talk, seeking validation to people that don't have the same spiritual insight that you do. Any inspiration you get, no one is ever going to feel or know the way you know. So why are you going to people who have not been given the inspiration? The word didn't come to them, it came to you. So how are they going to validate something that came to you personally? They can kind of give you an idea. What I try to do is push people. If they tell me they got an inspiration, go forward and make it happen and be consistent with it. Do it. And I watch time and time again. The same story plays out. People come up and they say, "Oh, these old me," and then when you start asking, "Hey, how's it going? What are you doing?" Well, I got sick. Oh, my mama this, my daddy this, my sister this, and the job and bunch of bullshit, excuses. They will find every outwardly way to say why it didn't work instead of saying one thing: I fucked up. It's me. It's me that screwed up. It's me. My self-doubt, my laziness, my allowing other people to distract me from where I'm going. They won't say that. It's me that's fucking up. Not it's everybody. And isn't that what happened with Adam and Eve? It was Eve blamed it on the serpent. Then Adam blamed it on the wife. Hey, God, it's this woman you gave me. And if I was God, I'd have been mad as fuck. I'm like, you gonna blame? Man, I gave you the most beautiful woman in the world. Ain't no other woman like her. And you gonna blame me for your fuck up? When you was here before and you saw all this shit I did? Look at this, what I gave you, and you gonna blame me? No, brother, it's you. Because you were supposed to step up to the plate and say, hey, baby, we ain't eating that. I already know how God rolled. We not doing that. No, he couldn't do that. He had to blame it on Before that, what was you doing, bro? Now, from a physical point of view, and you start thinking about, man, Eve had to be bad, like she was hot, good looking, so good. He said, "Oh man, this is it, man, this is it." I mean, I'm just looking at it from a level from where I'm at, how I react to my woman, and we so far from that time. Eve, Adam, according to the story, she had the baddest woman on the planet. And he became very unappreciative and started to say God gave him something defective. It ain't my fault. Like, wait, bro. You ate because you wanted to eat it. She awakened your curiosity and you went for it. You see? But what I'm trying to tell you, what's happening and where you are right now is a direct result of all of ideas you had prior to the manifestation of it. And here's the other thing. That's why you have to be very careful of who you're hooking up with, man and woman. And I'm talking to the fellas. You got to have the right woman by your side. You will not. Because even the Bible, all of the scriptures about wisdom that relate, it's always a her. That tells me I have to get a woman with wisdom, spiritual wisdom. Have to. That's mandatory if you want to have prosperity. Stop and look at that. Stop and look at that. I think I gave y'all the point. I was going to read from Reverend Ike's book, but I think I gave y'all. Stop it. I don't have to talk on here for too long to give y'all the message. I don't have to be here for hours. Y'all understand it. Anything that's not what you want it to be is a direct result of all of the ideas that you had in your consciousness. And through your consciousness, those things came into physical existence that showed up. And you allowed it to happen. So we go back to the story of Adam and Eve. There was some doubt there that had creeped up for the serpent to even plant the seed. The seed was just validated. Because when you understand that the serpent wasn't really a real serpent, it was the oppositional thinking in the mind. There was some conversations about that tree over time, and then it developed into a physical reaction to it. All right, peace. So Tuesday, we're going to talk about some things. A couple of things is there's a company that's has to do with Facebook and its origins and what happened. Because y'all do know that the internet is one surveillance technique of the government. Facebook and all these other stuff where you upload your information, you just voluntarily giving them that stuff so they can have a historical data on you. But we're going to talk about that on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Because when I tell you that everything is a stage, everything is an act, everything is a play, these companies don't get big by accident. They get big by playing ball. And some of them are run and operated by government agents. Because all corporations just want to be one thing. Your holding agent, withholding agent. They want to be the ones you work for so they can take your money and give it away. But anyway, with that being said, y'all have a good rest of your Sunday. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth. We'll talk about that on Tuesday. Oh, yeah, the indigenous passport is in effect. I'm full right now. But you can buy the actual process and do it yourself. But me doing it for you it's closed in the time being. I'll let you know when I open it back up because I got too much paperwork to fulfill right now. I'm still doing trust and other things, but not the indigenous passport process. Peace. Y'all have a good day. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. All right, so thanks for tuning in to the nationality correction process. So why am I doing this? Because we have been taught through this in this movement that static are being sacrificed. And that's if your stuff's not available, they can't hear. Sometimes you gotta feel your way through the dark, and I struggled all over.